What's going on, guys? Aaron and Zai here. We're going to do a little Banlist prediction. So, to get started, first and foremost, Harporter 1? Some people think so. I don't know. I've never really played around with the Orcus deck myself. I've played against it a couple times recently. It's really good. I don't know if it really needs to come off the ban list, but we are going to, why not? F it. Let's go with the bandwagon and jump on and say it's going to come back to 1. We'll find out. Next thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and talk about everything that's already on the list and say where I think it's going to move, if it's going to move at all. And then we're going to talk about my predictions as far as what I think is not on the current list whatsoever that I think might jump on the list. So for stuff that's going to come off the list or move on the list, I do think Monkey Board is the next one. I do think Monkey Board is going to come to 1. I don't think it's that crazy strong or anything like that, and they want to facilitate some of that pendulum play. They want to help Triff's cult of pendulum players. So speaking of Astrograph Sorcerer, following the pattern, I think that Triff's going to get his Sorcerer to 2. So we're going with that. Infernity Archfiend. So I do think that this card in particular, this archetype's been getting a lot of support. I do think that they're going to facilitate the desire to play that by putting Archfiend to 2. I think that just makes a lot of sense, but could be wrong. Could be wrong. But I do think we were going to get Archfiend to 2. Instant Fusion, I think is going to go come from 1 to 2. It's just I think it's time. You know, it doesn't really see a lot of competitive play. It's a pretty good card, and there are more interesting targets now that Konami's going to want to lift this. I think. Next, a hero lives to 3. Give it to him. Give it to the hero players. We can ash this and get rid of half their life points. Why is this even on the list at all? Salmon Great Circle. Here's the thing with Harpor and Salmon Great Circle is they're going to make some of these older decks that were really, really good at one point good again. And they're fan favorites. And so it's going to be a balance between, like, does Konami want you to play these things and they're going to lose money on that, right? But they're going to gain the fan clout. Whatever you want to call it, or do they want to keep you just buying the newer cards and playing the newer decks? That's the real argument about Circle and Harp Horror. And I'm gonna say Circle to 3, Harp Horror to 1, but I'm not gonna be surprised if these things don't change. Scapegoat to 3. I don't know what it's doing out there. Don't know what it's doing at 2. Just take it off. Just take it off. It's not gonna do anything. Night Assailant. I think this got an errata, so I think this is probably fine at 3, but we'll say let's just take it to 2 for now. All right, now we're gonna get into some of the more controversial stuff. First off, we gotta talk about Anaconda, guys. Gotta talk about Anaconda. I know a lot of people want to ban Anaconda. I don't think the banning of Anaconda is going to do what you think it does. Here's why. So I really think the Anaconda facilitates diverse formats. Most of the major decks right now don't play it. Despia can't play it. Despia plays Branded Opening and Branded Fusion that locks themselves into Fusion Summoning. That's the fastest way to play Branded, and it's the best way to play Branded. You would never play Anaconda. It's just dumb. Like, it doesn't facilitate a lot of your plays whatsoever. So Anaconda doesn't help Despia. Obviously, Flunder's not playing Anaconda. They're not running any fusion packages whatsoever. They can't special summon. So what's playing Anaconda? Prank is at the top right now. Pile, you could say, is at the top. But Pile comes in so many different facets and forms and styles. And so it's really, really difficult to hit all of them. And many of them still function without Anaconda. All I think you're going to do if you hit Anaconda is you're going to hit Rogue. We are in one of probably some of the most diverse formats we've seen in a long time. I love it. I personally love the diversity. But I think cards, and I think some of that diversity, a lot of that diversity is owed to cards like Anaconda. As soon as we see cards like Anaconda leave, the formats are going to get very, very rigid again. It's going to be about 4 or 5 archetypes and decks, and that's going to be it. Because a lot of these rogue decks can't play Anaconda when their board falters. So, and like I said, the best boards right now aren't even playing it. So I don't understand why people want to ban it. I think it's going to be a huge, the game shooting itself in the foot, fans shooting themselves in the foot. Learn to play Anaconda. Get one if you don't have one. Learn to play it. or play one of the better decks that doesn't need it. That's it. That's it. I really do think they're going to hit Prank, and I think they might hit Pile. I don't think they need to hit too much of like the Swords or Tenyi Pile, but they need to hit Prank. I think Prank. Everyone's kind of beating their heads against the wall about Prank Kids, Adventure Token Prank Kids. But Anaconda, just don't touch it, man. Don't touch it. Scythe is the next big thing. I wish they ban Scythe. I hope they ban Scythe. But I'm predicting they're going to ban Dagda. I do think that Scythe is going to dodge the ban list because they just reprinted it in that structure deck. So it'd be kind of weird for them to do that and then hit it. It's just very strange and weird. Konami's done weird things before. But I think this was a good consistency hit for anybody who's all the major Link summoning decks. And if you hit Dagda in those decks, you got to hard draw the Scythe now. Okay, so or you got to come up with really, really creative ways to get it with like Witch the Black Forest or something, or Sangan. I don't know. It's going to be harder to keep it consistent. And the Scythe lock wasn't something we saw a ton in the competitive, but just to make sure it isn't gone, it's really, really gone without actually hitting the card, which I don't think they'll do because they reprinted it. Dagda makes the most sense to me. Let's talk about Hulk. Hulk to 1 is my prediction. Don't think it needs to get hit. They just reprinted it. It's not going to get hit. I don't think Auroradon's going to get hit. The entire Auroradon package just got hollowed out and goes from the past 2. Wouldn't make sense for them to hit Auroradon. And I don't think it needs to be hit. I think Pile and the Auroradon combo, all that, has so many moving parts. It's so fragile. It's a glass cannon. It can get hit by an Imperm, an Ash, at Hulk. It can get nibbed. I mean, come on, guys. And, you know, if they've gone through, if you've gone through all their resources and they spit out a Hulk and they, you know, most of those decks, what are they going to do? They're going to get a Baxia or a Chichao. That's not like an unbreakable board or something. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get one big monster out and call it a day. So in my opinion, Hulk to 1 is fine because I think there are some decks that can play it at 2 and really do some crazy shenanigans. So 2-1 is just fine. Griffin Ryder. Let's talk about some of the Adventure Token package. So Griffin Ryder, I think, is going to go to 1. Just makes sense, so you can't have that extra for consistency or the extra for Pile. You know, they like their level 7 special summon Cyber Dragon like effect, and then you get you know, you throw a level 3 tuner out there, you make your Baron. It's like, okay, man. You know, so to make that a little less consistent, I think, and obviously to make the Omni negate itself a little less consistent, Griffin to 1 is good. Now, I'd like to talk about 2 decks I think are going to get the big hammer, and that's going to be Eldritch and Prank. I think these decks have just been around for a long time, man. They've been around for a long time, causing havoc, causing mayhem. I want to talk about Eldritch just a little bit. So I think Control's in a the Control is in a sweet spot, and Eldritch has been taking advantage of it for a long time. And I think I want to see more diversity with Control decks, and I think that Konami is also going to do this because it's going to facilitate you buying some of their newer cards. Like the Labyrinth strategy, like some of the Amazement stuff. I think Amazement's getting some support in the later set. And it just makes room for you to come in and play some of those Battle of Chaos, Blue Eyes, and Dark Magician control variants, or some older Control stuff. You know, they got to open up Control to more than Eldritch, because essentially all Control is right now is Eldritch. Because why would you play Blue Eyes Control if you can just play Eldritch? It's the best version of all these Control decks. And it's just been around for a long time, causing havoc and being a menace. So I think the best consistency hit to it is Sanguine to 2. That's just me. That's just me. Yeah, maybe I'm way off. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do think that the hammer is coming for Eldritch. I'm predicting that now. Prank Kids. I've gone back and forth between Doodle Doo and Prank Kids Place. I do think Prank Kids Place would really hit the deck. Wouldn't kill it, but it would hit it like the hit Drytron, where it's like it's hit enough that if you really want to force it and you really want to play, you can play it. You'll find a way to play it, but it'll take the majority of Prank Kids players and go, okay, fine, we're gonna go play something else with our Adventure Token package. So, I think it needs the hammer. It's been around for a while, and it just caused a lot of people just slamming their heads against the wall. So if you're not playing Despia, man, you don't want to see Prank. So I think that's coming. Flunder, this is the Flunder hit. I think Dimension Shifter is going to go to 1, and rightfully so. They got to hit Shifter or they got to hit Barrier Statue, and I doubt they're going to hit the Barrier Statue. I wish they would. I would much rather play around a Shifter than play under a Barrier Statue. Barrier Statue, you just fucking scoot, man. It just sucks. But Dimension Shifter, I think that's what the route they're going to end up going. Dimension Shifter to 1 makes a lot of sense. Just doesn't let you play. So, damn those Flunders. All right, now, 2 big giants in the room. We got Water Enchantress. We got Rite of Aramesir. I personally think that they're fine. I have a prediction coming up that's going to answer this issue a little bit better in the meantime. And you got to look at it from this perspective as well. People spent hundreds of dollars on this engine. Konami is not going to limit these things or ban them or any of that kind of stuff because they make their money off the people who are spending money on these expensive cards. It would not make sense from a business model for them to slap their big spenders in the face every time they give them a good card that's expensive, right? So I do think Water Enchantress, they want to keep making money on these cards. I think Water Enchantress and Rite of Aramesir to 2 is fine. I think it's actually overkill to hit Griffin Ryder to 1. This Water Enchantress to 2, Rite of Aramesir to 2. I really hope they don't hit it this hard, but I am predicting that they're going to hit Griffin to 1, Water Enchantress to 2, Rite of Aramesir to 2. Next, I really don't know if they're going to hit Branded at all. I have an interesting prediction coming up here, but I do think that Branded opening to 2 makes the most sense, and maybe eventually to 1. This is the deck's way to play around Draw and Lockbird, so they'll just activate Branded opening in the draw phase or standby phase. So in that play, I think that taking this away just a smidge, putting it to 2, it might be good. Because if you hit a looper, for one, you got opening still, and that dodges draw and lock. And then you've also got Spriggan's Kit. So I think Branded opening is actually the best way to hit the deck and the deck consistency, because it's not in the structure deck, whatever. So I think this is the smart hit. Now this is the one I think is really coming. This is the interesting one. Foolish Burial is going to get banned. It's the starter for the Adventure Token package. It's the starter for Despia with Sending Tragedy. I think it's so good in so many different decks. I think the smart move for Konami is to ban Foolish Burial. I'm very, very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this, but I do think that is going to be the biggest hit to Adventure Token, to Despia, that just makes a lot of sense. And then finally, we've got Royal Oppression. So this is my wacky one. This is my wild card. So they've been doing really weird stuff with bringing IO off the list, then banning it again, bringing Skill Drain to 3, Raigeki to 3, doing all kinds of crazy shenanigans. They got a hard on for their old continuous trap cards, and I think Royal Oppression is the next one to try to slow the game down. Read this thing with me. Pay 800 life points to negate a special summon of a monster and the effect of a card that special summons a monster and destroy it. Both you and your opponent can use this effect as long as this card remains face up on the field. Shuts down special summoning entirely. That's pretty wild, and you and your opponent can both use it. This opens up a lot of really, really neat doors and possibilities for things, so I see this card coming off the list at some point. Maybe not this ban list, maybe next, but we are going to predict this is going to come to 1. So, alright guys, that's all I got for you today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I on the money? Am I way off the mark? What do you guys think should get hit? What do you guys think should come off the ban list? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. We'll see you guys next time.